First off, I just want to say I'm a little sick, so if you can't hear me at all, just like speak up, say something, and I'll try to talk a little louder. But yeah, so I'm talking about foreign language in America. One thing that I often get asked a lot, one thing that I'm very passionate about is foreign languages. And so one thing I often get asked about is, like, how do you know so many languages? Are you fluent in 8 different languages? Like, what is the deal? How do you know all these? And I want to preface the talk by saying that I'm not fluent in any language but English, or at least would not consider myself to be fluent. But yeah, so I just want to talk about kind of my experience growing up. I'm from Palo Alto. My dad lives up in San Francisco, so growing up in the Bay Area, and kind of how I learn language, and how I've seen other people around me learn language, and how I've seen people around the country learn language. So starting off, in preschool, actually, the preschool I went to made me take foreign languages. They made me take Spanish and French. It wasn't like an immersive school, so I didn't really learn very much. But that was kind of the first time in my life where I was really exposed to different cultures and to different languages. And so through that, my Spanish teacher was from Argentina, and she would have days where we would talk about she would teach us songs from Argentina and stuff like that. And so being able to see language through a cultural perspective and through a personal perspective really has helped me learn languages. But that was really the first time that I was exposed to that. And even though I don't really remember preschool all that well, that is still the first thing that I kind of think about when I think about why I started learning languages. So moving on from that, I took Chinese for a year. Don't really remember any of that. I can't speak Chinese. Please don't try to talk to me in Chinese. My sister is fluent, so that's on her. If I need help, that's not me. But yeah, so took Chinese for a year, and then starting in 2nd grade, I took Spanish and Japanese. Currently still taking Japanese. This is my 12th year. I'm really bad for 12 years. Please, again, not fluent, don't come talk to me. But yeah, so starting in 2nd grade, I had this teacher. Her name was, we called her Kyoko-san, and she was from Japan, from this island called Shikoku, and she really just inspired me so much to learn more about Japan. She ran the Japanese club, she ran she taught us this language, and so I was just super inspired to learn more about Japanese. And then I just became so close with her over however many years, that was 6 or 7 years, that then when I was studying to take my placement exam for high school, she actually had been diagnosed with terminal cancer and stopped teaching for 2 years, but still came in and would help me with my exam prep. And so it was really kind of, I think, during middle school when I really got into language and really saw it as a way to connect with people and to see other cultures. And it was also in middle school when I went to Japan for the first time. And so it was partly during that trip that I was really able to see how you can connect with people on a totally different level, especially in a country where not very many people actually speak English. And so it was really at that time, and then through high school. In high school, I started taking Arabic as well, and I started learning Korean. One of the things I found when I was in high school, meeting people from other schools where they didn't necessarily have to take language, was that a lot of people not only were not inspired to learn language, but that learning language was actually really hard for them in their school because of where they were from. And that inspired me to look more towards how does America treat foreign language, and how, as an English-speaking nation, how do we regard foreign language as a positive value amongst, especially our youth, but amongst our entire population. And especially as I have been traveling over the past few years, it's something that I've definitely really found interesting, is going to countries and kind of seeing other Americans assume that everyone speaks English. And obviously I've been to many of the countries I've been to, I haven't spoken the language of that country, but it's interesting to see kind of the mentality of someone who's grown up speaking language versus people who haven't grown up having that same background. And so one of the things that I think in high school, roughly around sophomore or junior year, that I really kind of started getting into the mentality of was thinking about language less about a class and more of as the language itself, and being able to connect with people and seeing like seeing people's culture, and even if it's like not going to that person's country, just like being able to talk to them and be like, oh, like, you know, you're from Japan, like what is it like being from Japan, living in the US? And even though that's still like an American narrative, having a different perspective on that narrative is super valuable, and it really tells a lot about a person and their story. And so that's something that even like now here at Stanford, like I've met people from Japan and people from Spanish-speaking countries, and being able to talk to them about like, since I know about their culture, being able to talk to them and say like, oh, you know, what is it like for you living in a country, especially in a country where people don't really know very many other foreign languages? What's it like being in a country like that and having these experiences? So yeah, I found language to be something that like I just have a total passion for it, but it's not because I'm like crazy good at it or because it comes really easily to me. I just found kind of this way to learn language and a way to kind of like to shift my thinking and realign my thinking, and I found that to help me personally, so maybe it'll help all of you guys.